Sugar cane sweet, but girl, your love is sweeter. Sobolo juice mixed with a little ginger.
Good day, viewers all over the world. In our continuation of introductory physics, today we shall be looking at physical quantities and classification. Physical quantities and classification. The foundation of what to study in physics as a science subject lies in the physical quantities. This cut across virtually in all the branches of physics. Now, what are physical quantities? Just like we have three basic needs for humanity existence: food, shelter, and clothes. That is the foundation to whatever anybody needs on earth, any human being. You need food, you need shelter, you need clothes. Those are the three things that are fundamental, that are the foundation to human existence. Every other things that may be in millions kind of stuff that human being desires are just additional. If you can eat good food, you can live in a good house, a good shelter, and you can cover your nakedness. You can put on clothes to shield yourself from cold and harsh weather condition. Then any other thing that comes along is just additional. You don't need to disturb yourself if you don't have any other thing. You are still a human being. The same thing in science. The foundation to what we learn in science are the physical quantities. They are the stepping stones to whatever things that needed to be formulated in scientific thinking, in STEM thinking. And so all the formulas, all the equations that you have been coming across, either in the past, currently, or that will still come forth from university in terms of research or whatever, as a foundation that comes from physical quantities. So for students that is just entering SS1, or as a review course for student learning physics for one program or the other, this foundation I want to lay is very, very important. Now the question is, what are physical quantities? We should ask ourselves, what are physical quantities in science? What are physical quantities? Now, like I said, they are the basis for scientific formulation. They are the basis for scientific formulation. Two, they are measurable. They are measurable quantities, and they are valuable. Measurable and valuable quantities. They are quantities that come with instrumentation. They are being valued or measured by the use of tools or instruments in a process called instrumentation. Now, with my years of experience in science, this may not be all that conventional what I want to tell you now. I've come to realize that these physical quantities can be classified into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The physical quantities you'll be coming across in your world of scientific exploit and exploration, starting from senior high school 1, we can see them in three different perspectives. Fundamental physical quantities. This can be grouped into two. 7 of them are base. When you say base, foundation. Then 3 of them are supplemental. supplementary or supportive physical quantities. Now, these ones that are 7 in number, the base, are the mass, the length, the time, thermodynamics, which can also call temperature, amount of substance, electric current. Let me try to manage my space. Electric current. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, luminous intensity is there. Luminous intensity. So that is the 7th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These ones are the base. Then we have the ones that are supplementary. They are just 3. Okay, we have plane angle. We have solid angle. Then we have radioactivity. Make it 10. So fundamental quantities, just like the name portrays, are fundamental, are basic, are foundational. Just like food, shelter, and clothing are fundamental, are foundational to human existence. So are these 10 fundamental quantities. They are actually 10 in number. But the most popular ones, the ones that are really the foundation, are 7. Then we also have some that are also fundamental, that we describe them as supplementary. And you can see the base ones are the mass, the length, the time, thermodynamics, amount of substance, electric current. The 3 ones that supplement, that support those other 7 are plane angle, solid angle, and radioactivity. That's the first classification of physical quantity. The second ones are derived. They are limitless in number. Where do we derive them from? We derive them from fundamental. We will come back to that in our subsequent lecture series on this. Okay? Derived quantity, derived physical quantities, gotten from fundamental, derived from fundamental, existing from the one that is already existing from the one that's already the foundation, which is fundamental. This one are numerous in number and cut across almost every branch of physics that we have earlier on discussed under this particular channel. Then we have scalars. Some quantities are scalars. They have magnitude, but they do not have direction. They have value, but they don't have bearing. That is scalar quantities. We have those that are vector. These ones have both magnitude and direction, or they have value and bearing. They are in space, in 3 dimensions. Then there are other quantities that I can describe as completely dimensional. Like I said, this may not be conventional, but I bring it up there to make the classification very easy. There are some quantities that, by the time you are deriving them from fundamental, you can see that they are all the variables that constitute those quantities are replaceable from any of these supplementary or base quantities. If it happens that way, they will say they are completely dimensional. Again, there are some that are also viewed as being partially dimensional. Such quantities cannot be completely substituted for using any of these fundamental physical quantities. The reason may be that maybe because they are constant or they are numeric in nature, numbers in nature, and they do not fall under any of these 10 fundamental quantities. So in the derivation of such physical quantities, you may find out that it is partially dimensional. Then we have those quantities that are dimensionless. Such quantities are physical, but they do not have any dimension. That means you cannot express them in any unit form, whether SI units or any other forms of units that are acceptable in the study of physics or study of science. So that is what I have for you for this particular production. Physical quantities. Don't forget, physical quantities are the basis for scientific formulation. They are measurable quantities. They are valuable quantities. We use the instrumentality of measuring instruments to get them measured and to value them. Okay? And like I said earlier on, physical quantities is the foundational parameters, foundational variables, foundational quantities upon which any scientific knowledge is being built upon. And so it is very fundamental that beginners into the field of science, physics in particular, got to know that these physical quantities can be classified into fundamental, derived, scalar, vector, completely dimensional, partially dimensional, and dimensionless quantities. Details of each of these will come up in our subsequent STEM communication. Thank you. Bye-bye.
King promise. Sugar cane sweet, but your love is sweeter. Sobolo juice mixed with a little ginger. Oh girl, I wanna be with you, but you know they got enough time for me. I wanna live with you. I got the reason why I can't let go. Girl, you never know, so you gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love. Girl, you never know, so you gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love. Girl, you never know, you gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love. Girl, you never know, so you gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love. Match on your chin now, girl, don't talk. Got me like a thief in the night, long jaw. But you know, say, all of my niggas, them ball. Nothing you go ever need at all. Match on your chin now, girl, don't know. Taking it a break, I me, I know the rush. Baby, if you want me, catch a rebel, mommy, say, with me, yeah.
Show me a jigger, let me see. And let me see the woman that is with. I put a couple $1,000 on your wrist. What's on your wrist? Mama, they can't touch you. I ain't never see this kind, babe. We do some kind things, make me feel some kind way. You know I'm not just tryna get laid, cause I know some kind chicks do it for the right pay. Baby, make I fire you with my machine gun. 16 rounds, I be King Kong. Girlie, make I sample you my brand new song. Baby, love.
Oh girl, I wanna be with you, but you know they got enough time for me. I wanna live with you, I got the reason why I can't let go. Girl, you never know, so you gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love. Girl, you never know, so you gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love. Girl, you never know, you gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love. Girl, you never know, so you gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love.
Señorita, mamacita, body bad and the craze for your features. Nice to meet you, Jimmy Sika. Only wanna deceive on my future. Oh, I wanna teach your body a thing or two. If you know the things we do, this loving no be jump, no April Fool. Yeah, girl, some more, you mean second. 5-star boomba, nyata kaba kaba miaka tamina ngobe. Oh my, I need my boss, mama. All of my guys are thugs, but you know I'm rude though. Tell me if you wanna give it up, I go trap much for your love, babe. All of the guys, they want you, but they don't know that I got you. And they never been what we been through. Cause you're my obsession. When I put you in the right spot, what you want, what you fancy. Waiting on my ride like a
Oh girl, I wanna be with you, but you know they got enough time for me. I wanna live with you. I get the reason why I can't let go. Girl, you never know, so you gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love. Girl, you never know, so you gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love. Girl, you never know, gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love. Girl, you never know, so you gon' gossip. Man, them so far to find your love.
It's a delicate on the mix.